Hello everyone, I'm Rodney from 3DGameman.com, and today I'm looking at the EVGA SuperNOVA 1050GS power supply. Now this, of course, is a 1050 watt power supply. The box itself does look quite nice. It's pretty much all black. It has a convenient carry handle at the top and a security seal. Let me cut that and let's see what's inside. Included is the user's manual. On the right side is a pouch for carrying the modular leads. Here's the power cord, some Velcro ties, as well as 4 black thumb screws. On the left side, more modular leads. And in the middle, packaged very well between 2 pieces of quality styrofoam, is the power supply, which is in this nice cloth bag. Oh, and look, they have a piece of protective plastic on the logo. Now they also include this. It's a power supply tester. It just gets connected into the main motherboard lead. This is ideal for jump starting the power supply. Maybe you want to just test fans or a water cooling system. And here is how it works. You just connect this into the main motherboard lead and it will jump the power supply. Isn't this a gorgeous looking power supply? It is completely modular, and I'll have more on that a little later on in the video review. Now this SuperNOVA line is available in all kinds of wattages from 650 all the way up to 1600. Let's quickly though talk about how this wattage is determined, and to understand that you need to know what rails are. Now rails are basically well-regulated transformers which convert domestic current into the voltages that your computer system can use. And there are essentially 2 rails, the 3.3/5 volt rail and the 12 volt rail. Now in this particular case, the approximate maximum peak output of the 3.3/5 volt rail is 125 watts and the 12 volt is 1044 watts. The 3.3/5 volt rail is responsible for the motherboard, memory, PCI cards, and so on, while the 12 volt rail is responsible for the hard drives, optical drives, fans, CPU, video cards, etc. It is also very important to know the peak amps on each rail. In this case, the 3.3 volt as well as the 5 volt rails are 25 amps each, and it has a single very strong plus 12 volt rail which is 87 amps. Now please do not cheap out on a power supply because it is literally one of the most important components in your computer system. Now there are a number of important things to remember when you are selecting a power supply. The first is wattage. You need to determine how much wattage you are going to require for your particular build. For a medium to high-end gaming rig, a 500 to 700 watt power supply is fine. For a hardcore system, select a power supply that's around 800 watts. If, however, you are building an extreme gaming rig, with all kinds of video cards and all kinds of other hardware, select a power supply that's 1000 watts or greater. Second, it should be at or above 80% efficiency, and this power supply's efficiency is up to 90%. Third, it should meet the latest ATX and other current standards, environmental directives, over voltage, under voltage, and other protections. And this power supply meets all current standards. Fourth, I'd recommend choosing a power supply that has APFC. Now, APFC, or Active Power Factor Correction, assists the power supply in being more efficient and therefore stable under load. APFC basically reduces total harmonics, it corrects input voltage, and it allows for full input voltage range. Thankfully, this power supply has APFC. Fifth, there are 3 main certifications: 80 plus, NVIDIA SLI, and AMD Crossfire. Now many of today's high-end power supplies will meet 1 or more of these certifications, and as you can see here, this power supply does meet the 80 plus gold standard, and it has been optimized to work with Intel's latest 4th generation Haswell processors to achieve the maximum amount of energy savings it can. Also, the eco mode means that the fan will basically only run when there's load put on the power supply, and this of course reduces power consumption even more. Sixth, look for a power supply that uses Japanese capacitors because it ensures a much more reliable product than a power supply with low-grade capacitors, and thankfully on the inside of this bad boy, well, there is Japanese capacitors. Finally, get a power supply with enough leads for your setup. Also consider a power supply like this one that has a modular design because it reduces the cable mess inside the case. Also extremely important is a fantastic warranty, and this one comes with one. It's 5 years. Now this power supply comes with a very rough and tumble paint finish. It is not going to attract fingerprints. As well, I think the overall look and styling on this is just exceptional. Build quality is out of this world as well. Plus, it comes with a Teflon Nano-Steel Bearing 135mm fan, which is super quiet. A little interruption here in this video review to bring you a word from my sponsor, Antec. They currently have a new power supply line, the Edge series. They come in 3 different models, 550 watt, 650 watt, and 750 watt. You can check them out at www.antec.com. Now, back to the video review. Here's the power cord connection and the power switch as well. There's lots of ventilation. Now, all the leads on this power supply are modular. You can see the connectors at the back. They are all labeled, so we'll take the guesswork, of course, out of connecting them. Notice that there's a switch here. This is the eco switch. So if you want to go green, you turn this on. If you don't, you can just go ahead and turn it off. There's plenty of leads, and a list on the screen how many there are and the lengths of each. Now, they've done a fantastic sleeving job on each of these. I prefer flat, flexible leads, but still, these are the next best thing. Now let me just turn the power supply on with the eco switch off. The fan will come on. However, since there's no load on the power supply, if I turn the eco mode on, the fan, of course, will shut down. But it will come on if there is enough load, even with the eco mode on. Okay, so let's see how loud this fan is. Now, I normally use a paper clip to jump the power supply in order to start the fan without it being in the system. But as I mentioned before, it comes with this power supply tester. You just connect it into the main motherboard lead and away you go. So now that I do have this connected in the end, you can see I do have it there. So I'll connect that first and then go ahead and turn the power supply on. So have a listen to the fan. There's lots of choices when it comes to power supplies these days, but just remember to get one that is brand name from a company as well that carries a fantastic warranty, and certainly EVGA can be trusted in that respect. I think the overall styling and build quality on this power supply is exceptional. It is completely modular, comes with a fantastic quiet 135mm fan. This supports the latest CPUs that are out there, the latest motherboards and everything else as well. It does have an eco switch on the back, so as I mentioned before, if you are a tree hugger, then you can go ahead and turn that on. But hey, you know, we all want to save some money, so that's a fantastic idea. Power savings is a good thing. My only gripe with this, like any high quality brand name power supply, is the cost. It's fairly expensive, but overall, all things considered, this is a 100% kick-ass product. Until next time, take care.